Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the second HubSpot user group of the year. So, today we are very pleased that we have someone very special from HubSpot joining us, but I will do an introduction just in a little while. So, first of all, please put in the chat where you're from, just so we can enable a bit of chatting between everyone who's joining the group today. So we have the chat function where you can put in your questions and we can also chat with each other as part of this HubSpot user group. But we also have the Q&A enabled where you can also put in your questions. We will make sure to monitor both the chat and the Q&A, so we will be able to actually answer your questions as well. So today we're going to talk about how to nail customer success with the reinvention of HubSpot ServiceHub. So something very exciting has happened, and that is that HubSpot ServiceHub got a really big revamp. So today we have invited John from HubSpot, who will first of all go through the whole reinvention of ServiceHub, and second, he will showcase a lot of the new great stuff directly in HubSpot. So he has been building out a lot of great stuff within our HubSpot demo portal, so we can actually take you through what has happened. And again, we will leave room for a lot of questions both throughout. So if you have questions while we're doing the demo or while we're going through the reinvention, again, just please type them in the chat or the Q&A, and I will make sure to hand them over to John. But at the end of this session, we will also have a Q&A. So if there are any more questions that we need to touch upon, we can also do it at the end. So there will be plenty of room to ask questions and really understand what is this whole reinvention of Service Hub about. So just a few notes on this HubSpot user group. Many of you have joined before, but we also have some new faces today. So this is my third year having this HubSpot user group, and it's primarily for software as a service companies throughout the Nordic countries. This HubSpot user group is to help you learn from proven inbound cases. It's to share HubSpot practices that will support your growth journey and also to meet fellow inbounders. And that's also why I really want you guys to enable the chat and just put in where you're from, say good morning, just to make sure that we actually know we are a little community here. And then, of course, this is a non-commercial initiative, meaning we are here to learn and we are here to share some experiences, but nothing commercial about this user group. So just a little bit about me. I'm Lotte. I'm the Hug leader. And as I said, this is my third year leading this HubSpot user group. I'm a co-founder and commercial lead in Helion B2B. And I have approximately 8 years of experience working with HubSpot, especially doing inbound strategy for B2B companies. And then we have a very special guest today, which is John from HubSpot. So John, I would let you introduce yourself.
Lovely, thanks very much, Lotte. I'd first like to call out that I threw hey hey in the chat because I looked up how to say hello, but I realized in Danish it's goodbye and in Swedish it's hello. I literally just Googled it, so apologies if you thought I was leaving. But hello, everybody. Yeah, my name is John. I'm one of the facilitators with the HubSpot Go-to-Market Enablement team. So I train support reps, sales reps, and service reps as they join and success reps, pardon me, as they join the company. I've been with HubSpot for almost 4 years now. I'm kind of at the 3.5 way point. And it started my life with HubSpot, I suppose, as a customer support rep as well. So I have a lot of experience interacting with customers and building things out as examples of how a process might work in HubSpot, still giving the option to the company to make the final decision. But here's a suggestion that you can start with and build from there. So I'm really looking forward to showcasing our new and exciting tools today.
Great. So I will just stop sharing here, John, and now you can take over the screen and we can go through the presentation of the reinvention of Service Hub. But also, as I promised, we will do a lot of switching back and forth so you can also see the actual practical examples within HubSpot.
Cool. Lovely stuff. So I'll do a quick check. Everyone can see my screen there. Is that right?
Yeah.
Lovely. Okay, so yes, so we're talking today about nailing customer success with the reinvention of Service Hub. So today's presentation is going to be a mix of sort of some tools that have already existed and processes that I can advise on, or that I suggest might be a good place to go, but also some demos of some really exciting new features and options for you to investigate further for yourself if there are tools that you believe would be of interest. So we'll go into a little bit of depth, and there's also going to be time for questions. If you throw your questions into the Q&A, we can maybe come back to them after. And again, I said, Lotte, feel free to interrupt me if you have something burning at the point.
Yeah,
So
I will for sure.
lovely. So to start with, I suppose I just want to begin with the foundation of what we do at HubSpot, or the way our business works. And we have the flywheel model that we have here, where we're talking about how we attract customers, engage customers, and delight them to provide the service that then feeds the business and helps itself grow, with minimal friction, ideally. Now, for the point here where we're talking about customer success, we kind of put success at the point of engage and delight. So it's potentially working with customers who maybe they've bought it, they bought the product and they're working with us, but they haven't fully adopted the tools. They're still maybe a little bit reluctant, or they're perhaps a little bit, how would I say, they're not, this is a new tool for them, they're still training, they're still in the process there. And ultimately, want we as customer success teams, we want to delight our customers, to not just let them use the tools, but to use them in an exciting and interesting way that delights them and makes their lives easier, and gives them great access to help their business goals and helps them in their day to day. So with Service Hub, what we've been doing is trying to grow in that area and expand our tools for teams that live in that kind of delight and the end of engage process there. So ultimately, as CSMs, as customer success managers or customer success teams, we've identified that obviously the goal there is to retain customers and grow customers. We have service teams that might deal with specialized requests, and we also have support reps who resolve specific technical issues. That's the kind of way we picture the standard process. Again, your business might be a bit different, so you might also have teams that handle multiple of these. So just bear that in mind as well. So in terms of how we delight customers, and this is what we talked about with Lot and Sinya as well, like we need to bear in mind the process of customer onboarding, which is huge, activation of the tools, retention of the customer, and ultimately then at the end, we do want the customers to grow. We want them to grow the use of our business, their use of HubSpot, the tools that they use, and in those terms, our tools will help them grow their business as well. And also, just to highlight here, the point of activate and retain, we say deflect, triage, and resolve, in terms of seeing if there's any way we can help them with self-service to save up rep time, triage the urgent problems from the non-urgent problems, or the priority ones from the lesser priority, I suppose, and also then to ultimately resolve those problems as well. And all of that will help keep our customers on board. Yeah, so that's the kind of idea here that we're going to go through. And what I want to start, and what we want to touch base on as well, is something that we have been mentioning to our customers. Is there were results from a global survey that HubSpot conducted. We asked sales teams specifically to tell us how customers or companies, pardon me, generate revenue. They told us that actually 72% of the revenue comes from existing customers. So it's important to know that when we're talking about service tools or success tools, it's not just about holding on to the customer, but it's about helping the customer grow with the use of your tools, particularly for SaaS companies. And we've seen this in different surveys as well. And I want to just very quickly share. I'm going to throw it into the chat if anyone wants to have a look at the survey themselves. This is all public information, so feel free to check it out. And this is something we want to share with our customers. So the question is, how come 72% comes from existing customers? Well, they are the customers who you are in the best position to delight and to work with. And you potentially engage with these customers every single day. That's what customer service reps do, or customer support reps do. So it's important to know that this option exists, and that we can leverage, we can grow existing customers, and as we reach out to new customers or new prospects as well. So that's just to cover that point there, that these tools are not just for holding on to what you have, but also about growing your business as well. So with that, I want to quickly share this product roadmap, and I'm going to share another link in the chat. I will also say, having worked in customer support and in chat, I share a lot of links. Again, one of the things to be like, don't just trust me on it. Take the advice of the website. The website will be updated. So there's a site there, hubspot.com/new. It's going to go into a little bit more detail about some of these tools. And again, keep an eye on that for what's new in HubSpot, for anything that catches your eye that maybe I don't cover today. If you want to take a screenshot of this, please do feel free. I'm not going to dive into every single tool here, but I want to focus on the ones that we're talking about in terms of customer success. So I'll give you 5 seconds to take a screenshot. 5. Cool. And I'll jump on. It's always nice to have that specific time for a screenshot. So the tools that we're going to be looking at today, specifically thinking about how we use them in success teams. But again, a lot of it might overlap with support or services teams as well. We're going to talk about product usage data, how we can get that information in terms of activation, some of the AI support tools that HubSpot is introducing, which are really exciting, and also the introduction of our help desk workspace and our success workspace. Also, we just want to caveat for what I talk about here. Some of this is still everything I showed today is in public beta, I believe, so you can apply for these tools yourselves. I'll show you how to do so at the end. But yeah, bear in mind that if they're still in beta, there might still be certain changes that made, or the way things function today might not be how they function on the public release. And yeah, it's just about setting you up for success. So we'll dive in first. So to talk about onboarding, I think one of the things that, go on, Lotta, you have a question? Or?
Yeah, I was just because, as I said, a lot of the things we're going to discuss today are in beta, which means that the reinvention of Service Hub will, of course, soon be rolled out. But do we know when the whole revamp will be live? So things going out of beta and will be fully rolled out from a service perspective.
That's a really good question. I don't actually have a firm date for the date when everything will be done. I think the way it's working is it's being like some of these tools are live right now. Like the help desk is live right now that you can check. And I think it is rolling out over time. Now, again, the final date, I'm not 100% sure, but I can do a bit of checking in on my end and see what the final date is. Because again, some of those dates might also change depending on what
Exactly.
comes up in the testing.
Yeah. Perfect.
Cool. So yeah, we're talking about the process then of customer success, and the first thing I want to touch on is onboarding. So I think one of the things that came up in my conversations with Lotta was about how do we do onboarding in HubSpot? Like how might that process look? And this portion here, it's not necessarily introducing any of the new tools, but it's a process that I think you can use leveraging existing tools, but that ultimately will be supercharged by the new tools we look at later on as well. So the first one I want to think about is if you have Service Hub, you will have access to tickets. And basically that tickets, if we think of tickets like any other pipeline, it's about moving the customer through a specific process. So that ideally is something that we could use for the onboarding process to be, if we take the example here, I suppose, yeah, I'll quickly go through the slide and then I'll show the demo. It's about managing that process, and also don't forget with HubSpot, it's about measuring that process at the end. So you have data to check how long did it take certain companies, what's our average onboarding time as well. So we can move customers through the preset process or the pipeline. We can manage our messaging communication through marketing and transactional emails. We can also include pipeline automation, which minimizes any of the manual labor involved. And at the end, we can look at reports and dashboards to display the progress and process and status of our work. So again, the process I look at here may not be relevant to your company, but I hope it's a starting point for you to jump off and to make some adaptations, I suppose. So the question I have is, the first question I would have is, how do we begin onboarding? Like, how do we sign customers up? This might come into play in terms of customers might apply for it. Customers might get it at the start of a deal if they've just signed up. It might not be the case that the whole company wants onboarding, but maybe a new team has started using the tools or something like that. So we can think of all these different variations on how it might work, but ultimately the situation will be for you. So what I did here was just created a quick form that actually anyone could fill out, but you can include your email, the company name, the onboarding service you want. For my example, I've included, like, say, foundations training, mastery training, or just a refresher course. This might be, a 1 month course, a 2 month course, and then a 10-day refresher kind of thing, depending on how we manage it. Potentially the number of learners. And again, the information we gather at the start is totally based on your own process. But then this form here will then create a ticket, which will enter my pipeline here. And you can see these different areas of pipelines. We can talk about if they've applied for onboarding, if they've onboarding accepted, which area are they in? Are they at a foundations level, a novice level, intermediate or professional, or level 1, level 2, level 3, however your onboarding might look. And if they've completed the onboarding, and also potentially if the onboarding was abandoned for some point, we could have a stage for that. So if you are familiar with, this is just to quickly show, and again, HubSpot likes to use the same user interface for multiple things, that if we have, a deal pipeline, if we talk about how we move a deal through a pipeline of qualification, decision makers contacted, etc., that same process totally could apply for tickets in terms of how we work. So we can also set these processes for how does this company move through to onboarding accepted, ultimately through to the endpoint. And again, the way this would look is we basically use this ticket like the onboarding process, or on the onboarding deal, I suppose, almost, that this is a process we want to kind of complete with them. And we can use those tickets to communicate. And like I said, we can have standardized marketing or transactional emails to be like, hey, you've reached level 2, click this link, and we can check who's reached it, who's interested, who's downloaded the certs we've connected, and all of that good stuff there as well. So with this too, just to show you in case you might not be aware of how this might work and how the automation might work, if we go into, you can build automation into your pipeline directly. If you go into the settings, and let me just check in here in the objects and then tickets. If you select your pipeline, then you can go to the onboarding pipeline. You can customize your own steps here. You make it as many steps as you want, or as many stages of onboarding as you want. You can automate, and you can see here, I may have these here. Yeah, so when someone applies for onboarding, we create a ticket, we get to the onboarding status, and I get a notification because in this example, I'm the onboarding master, or whatever it is, the onboarding captain. So I get a message. Then when someone moves, again, we change the status, and then we send an email introduction to the team because we've accepted it. Your onboarding is going to be starting. And again, we can automate all of these processes right up to the point of sending a congratulations email, and setting it to complete. So it's about just pushing the customer or pushing the team through that process there that you can set. So the automation can be built into the pipeline directly, just like it would be in deals. We can do that in tickets. And likewise, we have this new feature here, pipeline rules, where you can sort of restrict tickets from skipping. I don't want anyone to jump from applied to completed straight away. We need to make sure they go through every step, and also restrict tickets from moving backwards, etc. So we can set all these rules. We can have all this in settings to manage that process. And also just in terms of the workflows that you can create from scratch as well. If someone has filled out the form, they apply for onboarding from any page, they can create a ticket. And also just to remind people about, in case you weren't aware of it, that when you create a workflow, or you use a workflow to create a new object or a new company deal or ticket, that you can you can update the ticket name with preset information. So this ticket is called company name onboarding service requested, and I include certain information there as well, and I get to assign it to the contact owner. So I get this information, I get the notification, I get the buzz when a ticket is created. Or likewise, let's say, for example, we offer onboarding within a package. So anyone who spends over 6,000 in our company currency, they get onboarding included. Great stuff. Once that deal is closed, or the deal is set, we can create the onboarding package there as well. And likewise, we can include the information, company name, deal they want onboarding, and the description as well can leverage known information. So stuff I know about this company has requested onboarding services through their deal here. And again, we sometimes forget that HubSpot is so interconnected that we don't have to type everything in manually. We don't have to preset it, but we can draw known information from existing objects or companies or contacts and place it in. So we can standardize our approach. We can make sure every team becomes aware of what's being sent, because the information on the contact is the same as on the company, is the same as on the deal, and the same as on the ticket. So we can have that information there. And this is just how it might look in the end. You see, the company name it's the dummy company as well. So some of the data might look a bit messy, but we see it here. The ticket description: the Garcia Hernandez has requested or received onboarding services through their deal, and here's what they've gone through as well. So we talk about what their deal is, what their onboarding process is. So again, it's these tools all currently are live in HubSpot. These are tools that we've been using for a while, but I'm just offering this as a proposal for how you might manage your onboarding service. I'll stop here just, Lotte, because I know that's probably a lot of information. Is there anything I should kind of clarify or cover in terms of your own user base, I suppose?
No, I think like in terms of onboarding, it makes sense to do it through the ticket pipeline, and also that now you can actually set up pipeline rules on the tickets as you can on the deal pipeline, also making sure that we actually have the data we need and we're not skipping. So we also will have, the correct reporting when onboarding. And as you said before, like a lot of the revenue actually come from upsell and cross sell. So really being able to track how many of our customers do we onboard, how many finish the onboarding, and also, to get that feedback. So when they have completed the onboarding, maybe also enable a survey, an NPS or something like that, just to make sure that we get the right feedback throughout
Mm.
the process, right?
Yeah, and also like if say for example you have a service team with a focus on growth or a focus on new tools, or
Yeah,
you have new like HubSpot is right now, like we know we have new tools in the pipeline, they're coming out soon. We want to get hype, we want to get interest. Is that you can introduce that in the onboarding, that you can maybe say, oh, so with this tool, we won't be able to dive into it today, but here's how we go. Here's how this tool might work for you, or how you can apply for it later. And you can also, in terms of automation, it's going to sound a bit kind of tricky, but like, for the workflow, where's it gone? Here, this one here, yeah. The deal created the ticket, but now imagine a process where the ticket reaches a certain stage and the customer says, hey, I'm interested in buying new products. Now we have a ticket creating a deal,
exactly.
and we can get through that process as well. So yeah, and that's again, it would take it would take a while to kind of think of every permutation of that, but that's a process that I can envision happening too.
Yeah, and I guess that's also the power of using Service Hub, is that it's so interlinked with sales, especially both from like an upsell or cross sell perspective. And also if you have service reps actually doing that part of the job, so they are also selling. That is one thing, but being able to use the data, across the whole CRM
Yeah.
is quite powerful, and also to use tickets both for onboarding in an onboarding pipeline, but also use tickets as in an activation pipeline, and also maybe in a renegotiation pipeline as well. So there are multiple use cases depending on, of course, how your business is working.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. And likewise, I don't know what tools people might be using as well. Like I know I'm familiar with tools like what is it, Jira as well for bug identification. I remember troubleshooting integrations between Jira and HubSpot as well. But like that's a process you could manage. Imagine HubSpot as your bug reporting software. How can we push them through that pipeline?
Exactly.
And again, if we think of in terms of interacting with customers, if I look at this customer one more time, or this imagined customer, like all the engagements, all my notes, all my emails back and forth with the customer, all the calls I've had, they will all be stored here as well. So we
Exactly.
don't have to click around. Now, with that in mind, there's going to be some other tools that are going to be really exciting. So want you to think about how the tools we're about to look at might apply to onboarding, or might apply to that moving a customer through a known process as well. Lovely. So I'll jump on there. And again, I'll enjoy closing all my tabs because there's far too many open for the demos, but that's the easiest way for me to go through. So next thing I want to look at is adoption and activation. And again, we kind of identified this as, ensuring that your tools and the user's needs align, and that your customers start having that really positive experience using your tools, that it's not a chore for them, I suppose. So first thing is product usage data. And as you can see, just in terms of my slides here, you can see the current status of the ticket is there currently live, and also it might say pro or enterprise. That will just tell you the level that the tool is accessible at. So this is an enterprise tool, and basically this is something pardon me, where we can use custom events API to send information into HubSpot. So this is suitable if you are a SaaS company, if you have an app or you have a program. How do I get the usage of my program into HubSpot? Well, actually we have a tool for that, and it's the product usage or the custom events API, and that's how we get our product usage data in there. So I'm going to share some documents, pardon me, in the chat there as well, in terms of how you literally can set this up. We have a knowledge base article for creating custom events if you have it enabled, and also we have developer documentation in terms of if you do work with a developer on your team or externally, that we have. I should say this as well. We have instruction guides for setting everything up. I actually I know that Denmark is the land and the home of Lego. Like I kind of think of HubSpot sometimes as a massive Lego set. It's like a lot of blocks that can be fit together in different ways. to build lots of wonderful things. So if we think about it like that, if you have developers, we have instructions for that. If you're working on your team, if someone on your team is a developer, we still have information on the public knowledge base that you can do it from there as well. And these kind of insights are really what's going to be key to upsell or to cross sell in terms of, let's say you have a limit usage on one of your pieces of software. They've created 50 web pages. They have a limit of 60. They're approaching their limit. Would they be interested in buying more to, upgrade the subscription? Or potentially we see that they've, for HubSpot, like they're using workflows a lot, or they're building a lot of reports. They might be interested in this updated report feature or the dashboard feature, whatever it is. So it's about looking at the tools they're using and also potentially the tools they're not using. Like, again, working in customer support, we see customers who say, I've never seen this tool before. What does it do? And you're like, well, let me tell you, and here you go, and explain it to them and make their day and make their whole lives a lot easier. So that's something we can do to identify the areas of most use and the areas of the least amount of use, I suppose.
Yeah, and also, yeah, enable the product data to automate that, right? So you will be able to send knowledge-based articles, you will be able to send product information, maybe even tutorial videos, just to make sure that your customers are activated on multiple parts of your SaaS platform, for example.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not that the success rep will have to go digging for this information. If you set up the automation correctly, it'll be like this person has 10, web pages left on their limit.
Mm,
Okay, we can set that process there. Or once the customer creates X number of assets,
yeah.
send a notification to, and you get that there. So yeah, that's a really key point there as well. It's never about just the tool on its own. It's about how this tool can feed into the automation and the reports and the marketing emails, etc. Yeah.
Yeah, but also from an onboarding perspective, right? If you're moving them, in the different steps, you can actually also enable the product usage data to see, okay, did they actually, turn on this feature or toggle this specific functionality inside the system? So you can have multiple levels of checking did they actually get onboarded correctly, or at least before completing the onboarding, you can go in and check, what is the status of the product users versus our onboarding program.
Absolutely, yeah. A check your homework kind
Yeah,
of
exactly.
job. Yeah, yeah. Did you create that report? Yeah, absolutely. We can check that,
Yeah.
and again, we can adapt our approach there going forward. So yeah, that's one thing that we can leverage currently, and the instructions are there. So we're moving on now into some of the newer tools, and this is the ones I'm excited to demo. And also, I'd say I won't be able to demo this for you because I haven't got the setup either in the Helion account or in my own personal account. But once you have your tool set up or you have your API developer there with you, that's when this process can be tested out. So then to think about the help desk workspace. So this is a new tool that we have. Again, it's currently live. It's available on Pro and Enterprise. But this is a purpose-built place for your support team to live. Not to say your success team can't live here as well, because again, the tools can be multifunctional, but it's built kind of with support teams in mind. We do have a separate space for success teams, which I will show at the end because that's the biggest one. But this is a place for support teams to get the best of tickets. It's an omni-channel function, so you can get tickets created from multiple places. And we also have improved SLA and routing to make sure the tickets get to the right team if you have a specialist in an area or specialist team. So I'm going to quickly look at this. This is the help desk. It should be accessible under workspaces and help desk here. You can see it's got the new tag. This is the help desk, and basically what it is, it looks very familiar to everything, pardon me, in HubSpot already. And likewise with your customer view, like if you go in, or sorry, in your contacts view, if you were to just open this one up here, we have the option, to create views, or we have the option to edit the columns that we have here to get the information that's most relevant for us. We can do the exact same thing in the help desk as well. We can edit the columns, we can create tickets, we can create new views. So let's say, for example, we have the tickets, or the default ones here are the tickets that are assigned to me. Great. I can look at my tickets. I don't need to worry about anyone else's. But if I was an admin or a manager, I could look at, tickets assigned to my team, and I can check that out here. So we can go through all of that process there as well. And this is a place for users to basically manage their conversations, manage their tickets in a unified way. So this would be somewhere where the support rep or potentially the service rep can live in HubSpot. They can click into the ticket here, it opens up the ticket, and we have this view here where we look at the queue of tickets that are assigned to them. All of mine are created a couple of days ago, or about 10 days ago, as you can see, and they're all, as you can see, this little red dot. I haven't responded to any of these customers yet, so I'm behind on my deadlines, and we get that notification there as well. But we can reach out to the customer, communicate with them. This one was obviously a dummy ticket, so we don't have the conversation, but we can see the usual associations, which contact is involved, what company is it, what's the deal, and likewise we can leverage the information here for our, whether we're doing our onboarding through this process as well, which might be an option for you. You can manage that too, but it gives the rep a list of queues that they can check, their own queue, tickets that are assigned to them, and a space to work, and also some contextual information for their, sorry, let me just make sure I expand that out, contextual information for this contact or for this ticket. So it's all here to live. You don't have to click around. You don't have to open multiple tabs. It's a place for you to keep an eye on many things at one time. Again, creating the views customizable. You can create tickets here as well. You can see the ones that have emails that have been sent out, emails that are still open, or questions that are still open. And for an admin or for a, whether you're an admin or a manager, you can also view your team and check out how they're doing in terms of their response time. With this, I want to quickly just check in on my notes here. Yes, so the omnichannel functionality. So I'm going to hop into the settings here. Oh, let me pop back. So if we go back into the settings, yeah, so we can access help desk settings from here, or we can just click into our settings. And then it goes down, it opens up in help desk, but help desk exists now in inbox and help desk. That's a new option there, and it's just under help desk. So we can see we can connect multiple channels. So connect a new channel, we have the option of email, forms, Facebook, WhatsApp, and calling. And there's also potentially more to come. There is an API in development, I believe, where if you have a custom channel, if you have an app, you may be able to connect it to your help desk as well. Again, cutting out any middle process there and getting your customers to contact you directly. And you set this up here and all the usual settings are there, that's fine. But we also have the SLAs, which are in beta. So we say, like, manage SLAs when we're in operation, or 24/7 depending on your team. And SLAs, just in case, again, I'm not sure whether it's different in Danish as well, obviously we're different language, but the service level agreement, or how quickly you want your tickets to close, or how quickly you want your replies to go out. So for these kind of standard tickets, we can say, so this is for all tickets, but based on the ticket property. For, let's say, in general, for a support team, you might want our first reply to always go out within 4 hours, our next reply within 2, and mark time to close, you want 40 hours. So a couple of days, or let's say 48 hours, or potentially 48 hours to close. We don't want any of our support tickets to be open for that long. That's potentially what we could do. But with this, we can also do it based on ticket property. So if, say, for example, we wanted to look at things that were in a particular pipeline, I might say, well, my onboarding pipeline is a longer process. So my first reply could be 24 hours. Sorry, let me get that in here. First reply could be 24 hours. Next reply could be a bit longer, and etc. going forwards. But ultimately, we want our we want our tickets to close within a certain number of hours. We can set that as well, depending on the SLAs that we have, based on different properties, whether that's the priority, like maybe we have urgency, low, medium, high priority tickets. We have the pipeline they're in, the HubSpot team that's working with it. So we can set these SLAs dependent on all of this information here as well. And I think there may be some more options coming there where you might be able to set it for any property, but at the moment we're focusing on those priority pipeline, HubSpot team, and source. Again, chat tickets should finish quicker than email tickets, should finish quicker than whatever way, but customizable for your needs, because we do appreciate, obviously, every business is different. Any questions about that, Lotta?
Yeah, I was just thinking that that's also very powerful from a reporting perspective, that if you have different processes, you can build that around both your team, your pipeline, especially if you're doing both onboarding and activation and maybe renegotiation in different pipelines. You can set up your rules to match that, and you can do reporting based on that, right, on your team.
Yeah.
And work that way around. And also really nice to see the help desk, that we have a customized place for our service reps to work where all our objects are interlinked. So you don't need to change between ticket pipeline and contact and company and deal
Yeah.
anymore. You have all your information available in one view, which I think has really been some of the things that HubSpot has been lacking when working
Mm.
on Service Hub before, really, tying all the information you have stored in the CRM in one view for your service reps easily to, actually respond within their SLA because they have all the information in one place.
Yeah, absolutely. And likewise, like I won't be able to show the workflow again, or will I? Let me quickly bring it up. I'll see if I can bring it up here. But that ability to, if you are creating tickets in a certain way, and you're like, but I know for for my team, they want this information from the company, they want this information from the or they want this information from the company, they want this information from the contact,
Mhm.
etc. That you can use automation to populate that. If a ticket is created in help desk, copy this into this, copy this into this, make sure the description includes this, 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 and this, and this. And again, it will help in so many ways, because that's the kind of stuff as a support rep,
Mm.
we might spend a lot of time gathering this information. Like, I know from, you want to build a report in HubSpot, I need to know this, this, and this before I can even answer your question. It'd
Mm.
be so handy to have that built into the ticket when it comes in. So yeah, it's really powerful, really great place for people to work. And again, it means that, well, like you said, it's something that's been lacking in HubSpot. We haven't had these desks where people can basically sit at and do all of their work. They've had to
Exactly.
hop into different records and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah, I think some of the frustrations also before the prospecting workspace for sales has been that you needed to navigate between a contact, a company, a deal. So you had to shuffle between all the objects inside the CRM. And now we have, you have really built these customized views where you have all the information across your objects available in one space.
Yeah, and I think that's, again, just to touch on the business. I think that's a kind of a promise that HubSpot's making to its customers now, in the sense of, we now have purpose built. If you were there for the sales relaunch a while ago, we have prospecting for sales teams to live in, we have reps to live in, or support reps to live in, and also we have customer success, which again, I'm gonna tease now, but I will get to it by the end. But I want to show you some more cool functions in the help desk, or that uh, empower the help desk. So the first one is the AI chatbot, and this is something that you can set up yourself very, very quickly. It's in public beta. It's available for starter customers as well. So if you are a starter customer, you can check that out. But what it's doing, it's basically auto responding to customer queries in live chat. At the moment, it's only working with English content, but we are developing it for other languages. So just bear that in mind. I'm conscious that I'm speaking with the Nordics region as well. And the option to customize is in development too. But I want to quickly show how this works in terms of how it will function. So let's say, for example, this is the AI chatbot settings that I have. And basically, this is drawing information from my knowledge base. So and this also, I should say, this is something I actually had signed up for on my own portal before yours, Lotta. But if you want to set it up afterwards, I can get it ready for you.
Yeah.
But if I go to my content and my knowledge base, I can click in here. I can say I have these articles. Getting started with Chatspot AI. What's the most famous landmark in Denmark? How do pawns move in chess? Origami. That's my company. I cover lots of topics. But my help desk, in the AI chatbot, it's basically syncing information from these articles that I have included that can be used in a chat flow. So now with my chat flow, I have it set up here. If I go into edit, we can see that it's a welcome message is fine. They're speaking with AI. We can put a knowledge base search there as well. We automatically assign incoming tickets to the AI, but afterwards, if the AI can't answer, we can assign it to users and teams or nobody, and potentially capture the email if we want. But the way this would function is, let's say, for example, speak with the AI powered agent. How do pawns move in chess? Oh, I spelled it wrong, so I may have to do that again. Oh, even there, the AI picked up my typo. If you see there, I spelled it wrong, but it answered. Pawns in chess move directly forward one square at a time. And this directly goes back to what I have in my knowledge base, where I've basically just included this information here. So the AI is drawing information from my knowledge base that's been synced and is recommunicating it back. And in testing this out, like let's say, even if I try this one, landmarks in, this might hit the right keywords. I might have to retype the question. There we go. So it's telling me to go to the Tivoli Gardens in Copenhagen. Again, whatever my business does, I don't know what this imaginary company does with its interest in chess and Copenhagen, but that's how it's working. And it's drawing the information and changing it. And in testing it out, it doesn't always communicate it the exact same way, but it gets that information out there to the customers and helps to get it, works in the live chat, gets the answer out to customers, and it means that they can have their question answered by your knowledge base before they start taking up the time of your support team.
Is
So it's
it only looking into the knowledge base, or if you have a blog and you have been blogging for years and you have a lot of information there as well, answering a lot of question, the old inbound way, will the AI
mm,
bot also be able to use that information, or
it does.
is it only the knowledge base?
At the moment, well, it's the knowledge base and also imported URL. So this is actually a process I haven't tested in that
Okay.
sense, but at the moment it's the knowledge base. Um, but you can also, so imported URLs, you could do this as well, import sources, because I think this has to be your site. So yeah, I think it could, if you wanted to load in information from your blog, you could
Yeah.
basically put in blog information and it will preload with lots of pages there as well. Again, one of those disadvantages of my account is I don't have an interesting website built up. It's purely for testing, so that
No, but it
information is
makes sense
there.
that you can actually import both your website if you have a lot of, product knowledge on your website as
Mm,
well, but also if you have a big blogging universe, that the AI will also, the bot can also utilize that content, especially, also for maybe new customers on Service Hub. If they don't have the time or resources
yeah,
to build a knowledge base from scratch, that you can actually utilize the content you already have.
exactly. Yeah. So that function should be there with the, where's it gone?
The import
There's
URL,
Helion. The
yeah.
import URLs. Yeah, yeah, lovely. So I'm just going to close down some of these as well to make sure I stay on track. Yeah, so absolutely. But again, it's drawing the information from there. And then with this, we also have AI recommendations, which I haven't got set up in my account just yet. I didn't apply for the beta in time. I thought there was one beta for all of this, but actually there are a lot of separate tools. This is currently in private beta. But what this does is basically just like we saw there with the chatbot, it actually offers a recommendation to a support rep. So the way it would function is, let's say I'm looking at a ticket here, and this is a ticket in my portal. Like as the support rep, I'm potentially answering something in chat. The AI will read the question and offer a potential response. So it says, "Hey, based on the question, here's what we could say." And we can see that in the example here. So the error code 10 plus indicates that this booking was not found. If we have that in our knowledge base or in our URLs, the AI can recommend that as the beginning of a search or beginning of an answer, pardon me, with the kind of caveat that we always recommend that, AI still has a lot of growing to do. It's
Mm.
super powerful, but as a support rep, we always need to double check the work. The same way you would reread an email that you're sending for typos, we need to make sure we do that for the AI. And
Yeah.
that's a function that, again, in private beta, but you can sign up for it as well. And then lastly, we also have the AI conversation summaries, which I can show you right here. So this is an example ticket where I tested it with the AI. And you can see, actually, this is the question I just asked. It just created a ticket there. So let's say, for example, I want to know a summary of this conversation. What happened? We have this option in the help desk for commenting, where we have the ability to reach out to our teammates. So let's say I know that Simon in my sales team needs to know this information, I can tag him in here. I know that someone else, someone from Mary from my marketing team needs information here, so I can tag her in as well in the comments. And we could consider this like the live chats, obviously your communication with the customer. The comments would be your notes on the case.
Mhm.
So this would be saved in there as well. And again, you can tag your team in to get specific advice, but also you have the option, if I just delete that, we have the option to this little icon down here to summarize this conversation. Just click that, and rather than having to trawl through all of your engagement, if you've been on a chat with someone for 20 minutes and had lots of back and forth, you don't want to have to try and rewrite your notes from scratch. The summary, the AI chatbot will summarize what's been going on in the conversation, which then can be in your notes, and you can add any additional context that's necessary. So it's just removing us so much of the manual work from this. And you can see here, yeah, asked about how pawns move in chess, landmarks in Denmark. That was the conversation we had. Here was the outcome. The chatbot effectively engaged. We can check all that as well.
Mm.
So that's the way the AI works and how we can use that to summarize. So it's helping us with helping speed up our replies, speed up our comments and our notes, and and also with the AI chatbot, it's deflecting it to self-service before it reaches the support rep. Any thoughts on that, Lotta?
No, just a really great way to, yeah, get an overview of the conversation that has been going on. And I know I've also been, engaging with HubSpot support a few times, and sometimes it can take both 20 and 30 minutes. So it's very powerful to get that summarized without having to read through all the text once again, right?
That's it, absolutely. And I'm conscious I'm probably a little bit over my time, so I'm going to try and jump on to the next one here. But again, to think about this in terms of onboarding, if you have an onboarding knowledge base or an onboarding blog, a lot of those questions for customers can be advised there. There might be a way for them to double check how do they do their homework for their onboarding practice as well that we can have there. So now we're going to talk a bit more about retention, and this is the most exciting, or not the most exciting, but the biggest part of the Service Hub reinvention, and it's the customer success workspace. Just like the help desk, it's a place for a specific team to live in HubSpot. And this is very much built similar to our prospecting workspace if you've seen that before. But this is a place for success reps to live where they can keep on top of their portfolio, the companies that they own, that they manage, the cases that have been recently assigned them, the tasks that they have due. You can see all these tasks that I still have due with my thing. We can add reports for visibility. Let's say you want to see specific reports. We can check all those, and they'll be just embedded in our view by default, so that you just log in. Oh, so this actually should be in my account. Let me get into there. This logs into my account, and we can see certain information pop it into there. There we go. Yeah, because I have certain tasks, and again, reports that I have. So right now, I just want to see the tickets that are assigned to me. Where have they come from? Most of my tickets are coming from email. Great. Again, depending on the information you want to see, this is like a mini dashboard for you. But you can see the connection, and this is the reason I wanted to show it in my one, is I have my calendar connected. It's showing me all my meetings for the rest of the day. I can see that I'm currently in the middle of this meeting here with the Nordics team. Hello, hello. And I also get a view of my portfolio. These are all the customers that I work with, the companies that I work with, the pipelines that I manage. Maybe I'm managing the onboarding pipeline and I have customers in different processes. I can also, like, ticket owner is me or ticket owner is my team, depending on your role as an admin, a manager, or as an individual contributor. You can do that as well. You can check through different pipelines that you have. How's my support team doing? I can look at that. How is my, we work with ad hoc requests as well. We can potentially do that. What's my schedule look like for the week? I have it all here to live in. What's my feed? How have my customers been interacting with me? And you can see conversations with Lotta there as well. So again, this is all purpose built for what is going on in my life, not just what's going on in HubSpot overall. So we're really honing down on giving individuals the space to manage this. And likewise, you still have the option to hop into the help desk workspace if you wish to manage your tickets that way as well. That's something you could do, but you can also manage them straight from here and be a lot more agile in terms of what you see or what you want to investigate. So this is going to be the most powerful place. I suppose with this, it's not necessarily a new tool. It's kind of a consolidation of lots of tools.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than clicking into, as we said, rather than going into your tasks or going into each individual record, you have all your records, all your tasks there. You can focus on this particular area for you as well.
So,
And you can,
so
oh yeah,
working in the help desk versus the customer success workspace, what is the difference, and when will you work in the help desk versus when will you work in the customer success workspace?
yeah. So the help desk, I would say, is designed for support teams in the sense that the way we view support, or the way I view support, and the way I think we've been approaching it, is for smaller technical queries, questions that could be answered in a 15-minute chat can be managed in the help desk. You might hop into the help desk to deal with smaller problems or short incoming problems, whereas the workspace, the CS workspace, is for those more strategic areas there where you're like, okay, how do I work with this company? How do I do research on the entire company to advise on strategy, to advise on these sorts of things as well? But again, you still have the option of or how you work through your tasks for the day, how you evaluate your portfolio. Whereas with the help desk, it's kind of about getting the tickets in, tickets out, tickets in, tickets out, tickets in, tickets out. That's the process that we have there. Whereas if we were, say, up using the tickets for the onboarding process, that we can then how would I say, we can curate that experience a bit more by looking through our onboarding pipeline. Okay, how will this be here? How can I manage this? And also potentially you could, if you're looking at your company's section as well, like your portfolio, you might have a sort of the last time a support ticket was raised. How many support tickets are they raising?
Yeah.
How many help desk tickets have come through? Right, this person is obviously struggling with this tool. And we also have this metric here, the CSM sentiment, which basically let me quickly show it here. Which basically just shows you how they're feeling about your how CSM. Are they engaged? Are they not so engaged? Are they at risk of churning? You can set that up yourself to be like evaluate your customers and prioritize based on that as well. So you have those options too.
That is really cool. So the customer success is more of my day as a customer success rep and my task, my portfolio, and so forth. And the help desk, as you said, is more like support teams running all the tickets and tasks in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I realize that different companies might, in terms of size, they might have their own designated support team.
Mhm.
They might have a service slash support team, but they can then divide their time between one or the other to
Mhm.
decide whether, okay, I'm going to do an hour of quick responses versus 2 hours of strategy and planning and, setting up meetings, etc., etc. But likewise, they do feed in with each other. And like, for example, like we say with our, like when we created sales hub and things like that, to be like, sales team want to know what the marketing team has done and vice versa. The marketing team want to communicate with the sales team. We can communicate straight away now. I can check the tickets. I can look at the support tickets that are coming in and be like, okay, how did this person's, okay, the AI chatbot, how did the chatbot answer this one for this customer? Okay, great. And again, the ticket owner is maybe me, or it's perhaps someone on my support team. So you can check that as well. But it's just about managing your channels more effectively. And the customer success really gives, yeah, actually, John, what it would be the customer success kind of gives an overview, a much broader overview of things, but again, in one place, where the help desk is all about that. I suppose working the factory floor a little bit, like you're
Yeah,
just
exactly.
trying to get the answers out there as well.
Yeah, so I guess like customer success is more like the sister or the brother to the prospecting workspace, where you can actually manage your portfolio. And also, if we think about scenarios where you need to do renegotiation or something like that, as from a customer success perspective, that will also be handled within the customer success workspace, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be much more the customer success side of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for me. So again, if we think about, but also to think about, like, how does the AI chatbot work into the customer success workspace? How does the ticket creation process for onboarding help improve the data in your workspace? What kind of reports could you build once your process is built out? To show this as well. So my final bit of advice here is just for anyone who's interested to please sign up for the betas. To do this, you or a super admin in your account just needs to go into their account icon. I actually don't know what this is called. Your profile and preferences drop down here, and just go to product updates, and you'll be brought to a list of different betas here. I can't quite remember the exact names for some of them that we looked at today, but if we have AI replies, potentially reply recommendations and help desk. You could sign up for customer success customer success workspace as well. I'll get some of the exact keywords out to Lotta. I don't have them right now, but I'll get them out to Lotta so she can share them around. But feel free to just have a quick flick through to be like, oh, two-way invoice, that sounds good to me. I'll join that beta. That's an option for you at all times, that you can go to product updates,
Yeah.
see what's new and up and coming, and check that out there as
And
well.
join beta will always be betas that are open for everyone, while request beta will be private betas where you most likely will need to have the right subscription or the right amount of context. It differs what you need to do
Mm,
to meet the criteria to join a private beta. But I think one of the things that are most important to think about when joining betas is that a lot is coming out. You don't need to join them all, but it's a very good idea to join the ones that can actually make some impact for your business and start playing around with it, especially from a service perspective, because you have done so many product releases that have really revamped the way you can work with customer success, and maybe also start, you know, um, to play the same role as maybe Zendesk or some other tools that a lot of HubSpot customers are currently on while being on Sales and Marketing Hub as well, right?
Mm,
So really see the potential of moving all your data in the same CRM system.
yeah, absolutely. Cool. And the last two bits of advice is just check in with your partner and customer success teams. Again, they're there to help you grow better. They're there to help everyone, achieve their goals within the HubSpot. And just the last bit of advice, like we talked about that Lego example, to know your process and then build it in HubSpot. HubSpot builds the tools for kind of, it's, as I said, like help desk is intended for support. The customer success workshop is intended for this purpose. If you have a different purpose, if you're like, hey, I can use this tool in a different way, like please feel free. But also to remember that you should, before you kind of start building something out, just have a moment to think of, what do I really want to achieve? How do I want to achieve it? And then to start building it out. As I discovered again, without a sort of clear idea, when I was building up my knowledge base for all those tests, was like, what questions should I ask? Obviously, if I had a business, I would know what questions I get, so I can get that as well. But I hope that's been helpful and been informative. Thank you very much. And just want to throw it out if there's any more questions. I know we only have a few minutes, so I'll hand it back to Lotta there.
Yeah, so thank you very much, John. I think it's been very great walkthrough. Very nice to see the demos as well. And thank you so much for your time. So I can see that I think we have answered all the questions. So that means you did a very great job
For
demoing.
now.
So we will share the recordings, and we will also share the links and the names of the betas that we have just run through when we send out all the material. So thank you everyone for joining, and we will see you in Q3 for our very next HubSpot user group. Thank you, John.
Thank you. See you, folks. Did you want to have a quick chat afterwards, Lotta, just for a debrief, or I'll hang on for a few minutes? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, do that.
Cool.